In a village called Pokan on the coast of Indonesia, no call to prayer has been heard for the past 15 years. Although all the villagers are Muslims, no one even prays to Allah. Behind this destruction of their faith is a terrible devil jinn who controls all the villagers. A devil worshipper of the village, Malia, meets the needs. In the meantime, one night, Malia is suddenly killed. As a result, now Malikin, this jinn, starts to spread its wrath on the villagers, in which 3 believing students of the madrasa come across. Now, what can they do to defeat this jinn? To bring the villagers back to the path of Allah Almighty or to know the terrible wrath of Allah for so many years, you have to watch today's Indonesian Islamic horror movie, which has a name. Let's go straight to the beginning of the story without further delay. We see a night scene of a village in Indonesia. Tonight is also the night. It was just like a normal night for the villagers who finished their work, closed their shops and went home, but they could not have imagined that their lives would be completely changed by the events of tonight. The scene goes to 61s. In the house of a famous man in the village, whose name was Malia, we understand from the inside of his house that he used to practice black magic. Here we see a disciple of Malia, Lam, who keeps a pot in front of Malia's picture. The pot also probably contained black magic items. Then Lam picked up a book that had a place to keep a key inside the book. He put that secret key there. Then he went to drink from a bottle of wine next to him. Suddenly, the light started flickering, Lam thought. Maybe Malia is doing all this, but Malia does not respond to his call, and suddenly the light goes off, which makes Lam a little suspicious. He turns on the flashlight and comes out of the house and starts looking for Malia when he comes out. Suddenly, he hears some noise from the side. Hearing this, he slowly enters the house and starts to see where Malia is. Suddenly, someone is seen running from his side, which Lam himself notices, so he moves towards that direction. On the way, he sees some blood marks. It seems that someone has been dragged in a bloody state. So he runs forward. As he runs forward, he is shocked because there is the dead body of Malia sitting there. When he touches the body, its head separates from its body. Seeing this, Lam is very scared. The scene changes in this. We see a scene 12 hours before the incident, where in another village we see 2 girls. It looked like one of them had a jinn on his neck and the other was trying to heal him, while another friend named Bagas was recording these things. Basically, all 3 of them were friends and so far. While the 2 of them were actually acting, these 2 girls were named Aner, and Aner had a dream that she would learn to drive out jinns from people like Malia and help people. Hearing this, Bagas said that if she really wanted to keep the bad jinns away, she should pray. She should study, she should not waste time because she did not like it very much. At that moment, Aner remembered something and she hurriedly left there with her bicycle and went straight to the madrasa. Basically, Aner's Mini and Bagas studied in this madrasa. Aner was. In addition, since childhood, the caretaker of this madrasa raised her just like her father, so she went straight to the caretaker's room where the TV was kept. He knew that Malia's show would be on TV at this time, so he came here in such a hurry to watch it. In this show, Malia was showing various expertise where she was untying a saddle and adjusting someone's leg rate. Seeing these things, Aner was quite surprised. She herself wanted to heal people like Malia, so she started acting like Malia while watching TV. At that time, we saw a special mark on her hand. At that time, the caretaker Abdu came there. He did not like Aner watching TV like this, leaving prayers aside, so he turned off the TV. Seeing this, Aner started promising him that she would go and pray only after watching this video of Malia. By this we understand that Abdu never wanted Aner to think of Malia as his idol, that is, to try to be like Malia himself, but Aner did not give much importance to his words. Here we see the rest of the video where Malia easily fixes a boy's leg and he even gets up immediately. Starts walking, seeing which everyone around becomes his fan, that is why Malia was so popular. Now after watching this video, Aner goes to offer prayers with the others, where most of the students of the madrasa have gone home since the holidays are starting from tomorrow, but here. Rini says that she will not leave Aner at home because she cannot sit at home without Aner. Aner is also happy to hear this because if Rini goes home, she will be completely alone here. Now the prayers have started. On the other hand, we see the scene of Malia's house. That day Malia comes to him. A poor man comes for help, with his little daughter. The girl asks her father that they are here. Why did she come? Her father replied that they came here to increase their wealth. The girl did not understand how she would get money from the Malia. That's when the man called out to her before going inside. He assured his daughter that they were going to become rich very soon. He asked her to wait there. But after the father went inside, the girl started wandering around where there was a place like a mosque next to it. It could be understood that the place, it may be abandoned. No one prays here anymore, but the little girl decided to pray here. So, while she was performing ablution from the nearby tap, another water tap in front of her turned on automatically. The girl was scared to see this, but she did not give much importance. But she turned off the water and started performing ablution again. At that time, we saw the presence of something terrible there. Meanwhile, her father was sitting in front of the Malia with money in a box. The Malia put the man's hand on the box and then a knife. He recited Tantramantra and hit his hand. As a result he started writhing in great pain. Meanwhile, Malia continued her Tantramantra. She poured some water on that hand and recited Tantramantra again. As a result, the man's hand became completely healed within a moment. Then Malia asked him to open the box. The man was shocked as soon as he opened the box because the little money inside had increased several times. The man was happy to see this, but he wanted more money. For this, Malia asked him if he had brought his daughter to sacrifice as he had said, meaning that the man had brought his daughter here. The little girl who did not know about the sacrifice was praying in that mosque. Suddenly, we see the devil behind her who is approaching her in a scary way. The scene changes and that night we see Aner and Dini who are from the market. On the way back to the madrasa, Dini remembers that he did not take something he needed. He runs to the store to get it and tells Aner to wait there. Aner was standing there waiting for Dini when suddenly someone calls him and he turns around and sees. In front of him is a Malia who has a knife in his hand. He comes towards Aner with that knife and tells her that Aner will become like him. A head for a head. Saying this, he cuts off his own head. Seeing this scene, Aner gets very scared. Then the Dini comes there. He takes care of Aner, but the surprising thing is that no one was in front of them. Maybe these things are Aner's imagination. Aner was very worried about this incident, and when she returned home, she became strong because Abdu was talking to someone on the phone where she came to know about someone's death. On the other hand, Aner saw on TV that Malia's death was being reported, that is, Malia died tonight and her death was due to her head being separated from her body, which Aner was completely shocked after knowing this. After some time, we see the scene where Aner had just come to know that Malia was actually none other than her own father, and Abdu had hidden this matter from her for so long. He knew that his father had died when he was a child. Abdu said that he did it as his mother had said. Aner's mother had brought him here a few days before her death, and handed him over to her and said that Aner should never know who her father was. Aner cried and said that for this she had hidden her father from her for so many years, she was like an orphan. Not only did he grow up in this madrasa, but his father's video. Whenever he saw it, Abdu would come and say that his father was a liar, the same hypocrite poet king of Malia. Now he has pretended to be a liar to Aner. Hearing this, Abdu himself feels very bad. He says that he never wanted to deprive her of anything, even the money that Aner's mother gave Aner for her escape. He didn't spend anything on anything until he gave it to Abdu. He left everything for Aner. Saying this, Abdu becomes very emotional and goes to his house. Aner sees there his mother's jewelry and money that his mother had given to Abdu all these years. He had taken care of these things. There were also pictures of his father, Malia, and his mother. Seeing this, Aner becomes even more emotional. So he decides that he will go to Malia's funeral anyway, that is, he will see his father for the last time. Perhaps Abdu could have prevented this, so he asks Abdu. He leaves the madrasa that night with the debtor. However, while leaving, Bagaz sees them and decides to go with them himself. The next morning, we see the three of them in a truck heading towards the village. On the way, he is telling his two friends everything. Suddenly, we see that genie behind him, whose name is Aner, is a little surprised to see that no one else can hear or see her. Now this is how they reach in front of Malia's house, where they see a crowd of people who are all Malia's fans. And they are sitting there crying for her. At that time, we see another woman inside with love who recognizes Aner as soon as she sees her. She did not want Aner to come here, but according to Lam, Aner needs them, so she goes forward to Aner and introduces herself to Aner. She tells Aner that if she wants, she can see her father for the last time and also give him water for the last time during the funeral bath. Aner agrees to this and leaves with her. Surprisingly, everyone around her bows their heads in front of her and greets her. Seeing this, Aner and her friends are also quite surprised, especially thinking that Aner is being taken to her father's funeral bath despite being a girl. Although Bagas does not find it that unusual, Aner is now taken to Bagas's body. Where Aner is a little surprised to see Bagas's body's throat cut, Aner notices that her father Malia also has a symbol in his hand just like his own. At this time, we see the presence of the woman who we saw talking to Lam a little earlier. This is Bagas. Another wife named Sari is now taken to bury Bagas, where the villagers were crying a lot for Bagas. However, the strange thing is that Lam was reciting some strange mantras while burying Bagas. It seemed like he was reciting prayers, but each of his words was different. Dini noticed the matter, but Aner could not understand any of this. Maybe he was so now after burying Molia, everyone slowly leaves the place. Lam comes to Aner and tells her that her father has left some things for her. What Lam wants to show her. When Aner wants to go with her two other friends, Lam forbids them. First, she tells them to leave. Later, Aner requests Sari to let her two friends stay here. Sari then introduces herself. She is actually Molia's third wife. The first wife was Aner's mother and we will slowly learn about the second wife. Now, Sari is indebted to Aner's words and arranges for Bagas to stay. On the other hand, Aner leaves herself. While going inside the house with Lam, the indebted tells Bagas that what Aner is going to get from her father. Sari is shocked when she hears that she will get some superpowers. She looks back and warns them that they should take Aner and leave as soon as possible because this place is on TV.